So guys, welcome back to Tech Geeks. Let's start with the first class that is based upon the basics of a Jupyter Notebook. So let's start sharing the screen first of all. So guys, in order to open the Jupyter Notebook, just press the start button followed by type JUPY. You will see Jupyter Notebook here. I told you to download Anaconda. I hope you have all downloaded it. Inside the Anaconda, we have the Jupyter Notebook setup. Jupyter Notebook is basically an integrated development environment that is used to run the Python code. So I'll be telling you some basics about the Jupyter Notebook, which is the very first thing to understand is that Python is an interpreted language. What do you mean by that? See, those guys who would have done Java or any other language like C, C++, would have the knowledge of the thing that any such language like Java, when we write the code in Java, and the first thing that we do with it is compile that code. So basically, the Java has a Java virtual machine that includes two things. The first is compiler and the other is interpreter. So the basic work of compiler is to convert the human readable code into the something that can be understood by machine. That is called the byte code. That is in the binary form. That is machine readable form. So the compiler do this task, which is followed by certain operations that are to be performed as per the code written or the queries written by us, and giving us certain output, and that output is passed on to the interpreter that converts that machine readable output into human readable form. So that is the work of interpreter. So what is meant by the Python is interpreted language means that it does not compile the code. The code you write is saved in the form of .py file, .python file that you can export to any other Jupyter Notebook or any other platform and execute it directly using the interpreter. That is why it is called an interpreted language. So guys, this is called the cell in the Jupyter Notebook. In order to perform any operation inside this cell, we have to click inside the cell. You can see here the green line. The green line means that the cell is active. If you press escape button, you can see the color changes to blue. That means the cell is inactive now. Now to be make the cell active again, we'll click inside this cell. So first of all, we have certain things inside the Jupyter Notebook, that is code and markdown language. What are those? Suppose apart from code, you want to give a certain heading to a piece of code that is the descriptive of that code, that defines what is the code underneath doing. So for that, we have an option of markdown. For that, we will use the shortcut. Just press the escape button followed by M, and whatever we write here then will become a part of our header. Now, to write anything as part of header here, we have to first press on the hash button, which is shift 3 hash, and it is just like what do you call an HTML H1 H2 tags, if you have seen. So it's just a header. The more we press the hash button, the smaller the font gets up to a certain value, after which it will become saturated and the size will not change any further. So in order to move to the markdown, here you can see the markdown. Earlier it was code. In order to move to the markdown, just press and escape followed by M. Escape plus M. So it becomes your header. In order to execute any cell in Jupyter Notebook, we press Shift followed by Enter. So that code or that header gets executed. Then further, if we want to write some comment in front of some code, we will use single hash without converting it to markdown. See, the option here is code itself. So in the code option, we will use hash, and whatever we write after that, Suppose we write this is a comment, that will be considered as part of the comment, and shift enter, that code, that comment gets executed. So in the same way, when we are in the header form and we want to convert it back into the code, here the option is markdown, and we want to get back to the code form, we'll press escape followed by Y. So escape followed by Y will convert it into code thing. Here you can see that it has got converted into the code. So this is regarding code and markdown and headers and the comments. So in order to execute any code, as I told you, shift plus enter. And if we want to delete any cell, we will just press outside that cell and will hold the keys as escape followed by D twice. That is escape plus D plus D. Escape and pressing D twice will delete the cell. Guys, this is all about the Jupyter notebooks and the shortcuts available therein. Next, we'll be starting with the data types available in Python and the operations that may be performed on those data types. Till then, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair, see you. Do take care of yourself. Bye-bye.